Alrighty. And I did just close all of my browser tabs, so I lost it. And Firefox is not starting for me. Oh no, it's all the way over here. All right, I was doing something else. So let me find, is it assigned to me, that MR?
Oh no, let me send you the link.
Okay.
Do you want me to paste it in the Zoom chat or on a Slack?
In the thread would be cool.
Cool.
Derek and Chad, are you familiar with the situation?
Kind of. Basically, I've been working on a lot of the custom renders and that kind of thing, so I'm familiar with the code itself. But from the testing perspective, that's basically why I'm here, is just to kind of be a fly on the wall. That's kind of
okay.
My goal.
So yeah, same here. I'm just watching.
Yeah. So the goal, because and the MR noticed that we had to kind of extend one of Toast UI's like core classes for rendering stuff, and we're a little bit coupled to some of their implementation behavior. So it's like, okay, let's just do a different level of testing coverage and get some actual like input output coverage of like, given this markdown or it's given this HTML input, what do we expect the markdown output to be? And so this is the, oh yeah, we're just testing the renderer itself right now. Cool.
Yeah, basically what we are doing now is we are testing specifically the HTML to markdown renderer. So the idea is that we created some custom renderers that are changing the way that we are generating markdown for lists for some formatting preferences like strong and emphasis.
Cool.
That test is, you know, attaching that service, those custom renderers to the actual Toast UI editor, and then using the set HTML method to set the HTML and get the get markdown method to get the generated markdown.
Yep. Yeah. And so what I love about these kind of tests is you could feel how this can just be easily parameterized, and you could just, and then it's almost like, you know, in a larger company, you can have like a requirements engineer that just adds new input output specs for this. And yeah, this is looking really nice. Okay, but it doesn't work. And that's what we're doing. So let me open up the thing and check out the branch. And it doesn't work because, do you want to share why it's failing, Enrique?
Yes. When we run the test in Jest, apparently there is either Toast UI or one of the dependencies of Toast UI. First, explain what Toast UI is. So Toast UI is it's a layer on top of two editors, CodeMirror and Squire, that is a rich content editor. And what Toast UI does is creating a bridge between converting the HTML from a rich content editor to the raw markdown that is displayed in CodeMirror. At least that's the use case that we are using right now from that tool. When we run the test in Jest, either of those parts is failing. The failure, if you run the test, you will see that is that it is trying to get a property that is called node type from an object that doesn't exist. I don't know exactly why that is happening and where it's happening right now.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be spelunking in Toast UI's code a little bit. So this will be interesting. Yeah.
So just to clarify, is this a test of our extension code, or it's intended to be more of an integration test of the whole Toast behavior? It seems like it's the first one.
It is an integration test of our custom rendering code used within Toast UI.
So it's going to exercise the whole of Toast UI, not just like directly call our extension. And okay.
Cool. Yeah, so it's failing. And yeah, you could even promote this integration up a few levels too, and like test at our UI level, like when the user inserts this HTML, what do we do? And but I think for right now, this is a pretty good level. So yeah, let's just unobfuscate this. I'm joking. That's going to be ridiculous. It looks like we have save range to bookmark. So let's check out. Here's this distributable. Let's check out their actual code. And I was looking this up too over here. There's someone created an issue here about getting Toast UI to work. This looks like it's maybe for a different issue, but someone mentioned something about range. It looks like range doesn't have support in JSDOM, but it doesn't mean we can't like make our own mock range thing. And that's the kind of thing I think we're going to end up doing. And given that we're doing something like save range to bookmark, I think that's kind of what is going on. But I want to really spelunk in the Toast UI code itself. What do you all think of that?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
like the.
How do I get to Toast UI?
that's what I tend to do. And like, if I know I'm going to be really going deep, I'll even try to use in my IDE the uncompressed, just original source version, and then you can set breakpoints and everything and step through it too.
You know, it's funny how helpful source code is. Like, it's even more helpful than documentation sometimes.
Right, that's what I had to do. Like, figure out how to do the monorepo for the middleman. Just get their source code and debug through it for hours to figure out what was going on.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So this is the same. This is the right thing, and we can also just check that we're on the right version too. But and that might be a good idea. Toast UI editor 2.2. 2.2. Oh, that's like the latest version. Oh man. Okay. All right. So then I'm gonna search for this save range to bookmark thing. Oh gosh. Well, it sounds like this might be a different kind of thing. Save Squire X.
That might actually be part of Squire.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh, here's a range thing. What's going on here? Get node after, insert node at range. It's a range. Is this, does Toast UI actually, is Squire their thing?
No, but apparently they have a copy of the source code in the repository.
Or is it?
We can go to, it is an independent package. You can find, you can type in Google Squire Rich Editor, and you can find it, the repo.
So I think to get where this is maybe happening, I think I want to maybe start from the bottom of the stack trace to get to the source code and follow that a little bit. But then if I'm not finding anything, then we'll figure it out. Oh yeah, this is a monorepo. So here's, yeah, they have this 2mark thing. I'm not even seeing the editor though. Where does that come from?
I think that I found the Squire extension file. I pasted the link on Zoom.
Okay. Cool. Oh yeah. Great. Does this have the save range? No, it doesn't. Okay. But it looks like with Squire, the first thing we hit was we do a new Squire thing. Do we know what Squire is supposed to do?
The Squire is the rich content editor. That's where the user types or creates the rich content and it converts it to HTML.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's check out Squire. It looks like that's the bit that we actually don't have support for. Let's check that out. What's wrong with you?
Oh, it is a different project. It doesn't belong to that organization. Let me, I'm gonna find the link to the project.
So how are they importing it then? I'm guessing it's this, I'm guessing it has to do with this monorepo thing. All right,
I think it's just a dependency. I mean, like it has the @ symbol to suggest that it would come from node modules or something.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But when I look up the package, I'm not getting anything.
I'm pretty sure Squire was second to the bottom of the last package file you looked at.
Yeah, and I saw that when we were here, we went to libs. I saw Squire, and I think this might be related to it. But let's see. Is this the same thing? This is, yeah, they have a whole copy of man. So much code out there. All right. This is like a whole copy of the Squire. So this is not, oh, and what I might have made a mistake by actually going to the specific tag, because maybe this contains like some of their,
distribution
maybe they copied some of their dependencies down or something. So yeah, that was a mistake. But this is Squire, cool. And we're interested in, because it looks like there's a class that you can extend. That's what they're doing over here in the Squire extension. And this is the bit that I'm really interested in, is this class. Oh. Man, that was helpful. Maybe this is it. Cool, that's doing something. Okay, so I've created it. We start doing some WYSIWYG editor init thing. Oh yeah, and then we call it set HTML here. But it looks like, and save range to bookmark. Is that a thing? Oh, it is, yes. Okay, great. Insert node in range. Okay, so what is save range to bookmark? So what I'm anticipating at the end of all this, we're going to note that there's something missing in our JSDOM environment. I want to see what is exactly it's missing there so that this thing can work. Record undo state. So I'm seeing, okay, what like class or native function are we calling that isn't doing what we actually expect it to do? Oh, we do this save undo state. Oh gosh, I keep going full screen. Undo state. Okay. This dot get selection is where we get the range. Maybe we call this, yeah, we call this in a couple of other times. We call it once in set HTML. Is this set HTML? It is set HTML. And where's the range coming from? Get range and remove bookmark, or create range. Oh, we're getting close. Win.range, create range. Is this just a thing?
Yes, that's a DOM API.
Okay. I'm doing all this. I'm learning stuff on the fly, and Enrique's like, "Oh yeah, here's what ranges are."
No, Well, I read all of the documentation. I couldn't find the problem. Probably it's just.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so range is a thing. Cool. And it looks like then we can also clone a range, I guess. Okay, all that makes sense. So why would then, if we have a range, why would we not be getting a like a node type? So if I go back to my, oh gosh, save range to bookmark. Oops. We're creating some elements. I would expect calling, oh, maybe create elements isn't doing its thing. Insert node in range. Yeah, I wish I knew what this function was, and it's really hard to tell what's going on here. Oh, we're doing something for all of our child nodes. So I wonder if it is insert node in range where we're doing, oh yeah. Is this a thing? This looks like a thing.
Perhaps we can find where node type is referenced.
I think it's going to be referenced a lot. I see it like referenced here.
Yeah.
Oh, range.start container. Oh yeah. All right, and yeah, there's no way this JSDOM has any idea what to do with this. I think. So let's see, when I just ran it here and I had a range, I think that was actually over here. Yeah, it was a real thing. Just for fun, let's see what happens when I do it over here before actually doing anything. Equals document create range dot, and we were doing something like start container. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Oh, I probably should have just commented this one.
I don't know if line 20 has a typo or not. Fit versus it, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, so I did fit so that we are just running this one.
Okay.
Because it's force, F is short for force, this specific test. And yeah, it's undefined, which is not what happens when I just create one in a real browser environment. So this is, we've discovered JSDOM does not have proper range support. And that might either be because we started implementing our own range support, and hopefully that's not the case, and we didn't, finish all of it. Let's see if we ever call this create range. Ooh, what's this? Whoa. We're doing our own stuff. Maybe it's already there. Let's see what happens. Yeah, create range by itself is probably gonna, oh no, it works now.
Yeah, now this is like a completely different problem. Maybe we just have to comment the build editor code.
What do you mean?
Oh, this one, that function, yeah.
Oh, this one? Yeah, I think we might be set. This might be it. Nope, that wasn't it. Take records. Oh, we're so close though. I can feel it. At modify document, take records. So this is another Squire thing. So another approach here would be like, if we feel like Squire by itself is the complication, maybe we can mock it at the Squire level. if it's very clear what that, if that responsibility is auxiliary and like we don't really need it for this case, or if it's very clear what we can replace it with. But I mean, I'm looking at Squire right now. It looks like a lot of stuff. So I don't really know what I'm doing. Here's the Squire extension and modify document. Oh, I keep doing that. Nope. Oh, gosh. So let me see, modify document.
So I followed that comment about JSDOM not supporting it and ended up at a pull request that says they've implemented the range and selection APIs. So maybe we're
In JSDOM?
As of December 7th. So maybe we're just not using the latest version. Yeah, I can link that.
Yeah, we're using something really weird.
There's
so we're using
the issue I found.
Do you know what version that's supposed to be? Because we are using this.
The merge was December 7th, 2019. I don't know what version it went into.
So we're using this like third party that does, because I think Jest by itself packages an outdated version of JSDOM. And so this is a third party library that it's like, okay, here's how you can get Jest and this new version of JSDOM working. And so we're using this third party open source package for Jest environment JSDOM 16. And you see it's hard coded 16. So I don't know if we knew what version we need to bump to, that would be cool. But then we also run into, if we bump, if the answer is to bump this, which we should do more regularly, like what other issues are we going to be introducing across the whole code base too. You can specify.
If it's a test library and the test doesn't fail, then you're good, right?
Yeah, that's true. I love reviewing test MRs because I don't have to test it manually because it's just like, it passed. Like, it's good.
I mean, if it should have failed and it didn't, it's a bad test.
That's true. That's the hard part. You're right.
By the way, Paul, probably something that we also could do is evaluate that custom environment class. So we have, if we perhaps implemented the custom range fake object that we have there, we have others that we don't need anymore because, newer version of JSDOM has those APIs.
Yeah, we should. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen to this class because we're doing tests. We have test setup here. We have another file called test setup where we do more test setup. And I think we really should be, environments are the way we're supposed to be doing stuff. I think use Jest, this environment thing is way more configurable than our like global test setup thing. So we're not taking as much advantage of some of this as we could be, which we do need to do. One thing I discovered too with all of this while we're talking about it. So this is something that I added a handful of days ago. But like anytime we have a component that's like based on our window dot location, we always do this like really, every test does this like, okay, I gotta create a property on window dot location to return specific props because you can't just assign to window dot location. But JSDOM actually has baked into it like ways to do this. You do this like dom.reconfigure and you say, oh, we're at this URL, and it automatically sets up all your window location and every other kind of JS, native JS properties that you need. So we have not been taking as much advantage of this environment and JSDOM as we really could be. And yeah, one thing to do that is if you find yourself mocking window.location specifically, consider using global.dom.reconfigure, and it'll set up all of those props for you. And this is how they recommend doing it.
That's cool. Wow. I think that maybe we can share that in the parent channel or the weekly call, or even create some small bit of documentation.
So
yeah, we totally should. Yeah, you keep bringing up good points, Enrique. Um,
To answer your question, it looks like they were using the 16.2 something, and in their changelog, 16.2.2 was 4 months ago. So this may not be in the version we're using.
so we might
So
be,
if we bump to use, if possible, the latest version of JSDOM, it might just work.
but if we're, is this using this? Oh, you're saying this is using 16.2, but the latest one is 16.2.2.
Yeah, that the library jest-environment-jsdom-16 looks like it's using 16.2.1, which was like 5 months ago, and this hit in December. It's likely that maybe it didn't make it in it. I don't know.
Well, no, 5 months ago. It's almost August, man.
Yeah, they didn't mention it in the changelog, so it's hard to tell for sure. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised. I think something's changed. Like the fact that we were mocking this and then removing it and now it's just working. I feel like something's bumped up and we now have more support than we thought we did, which is good. But I'm not sure what this take records thing is coming from. It might be the same thing. And if it seems like it's more DOMy stuff, then maybe we need to consider boosting this even more. This isn't really a huge library. Like if we wanted to just do this ourselves and make it a very specific tweak to it, we could as well. Yeah, let me see if I can find what take records, or if anyone else wants to see where that's coming from. It's coming when we call modified document. And I guess that comes from the Squire stuff. I lost the Squire stuff. Oh no. It's over here. I'm thinking. Oh wait, I can use GitHub code thing. No, I can't. Oh no. Okay. What do we call it? Modified document. Oh man, it does something.
I found a reference, but in the original Squire repo. I guess it should be also in TOS UI because it is a copy. I pasted in the Zoom chat.
Line 193 is where your take records is happening.
193. Oh yeah, you're right. So we're saying take records is not a function because mutation. Oh, is this observable stuff? Mutation. Equal. It is a mutation observer. No. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing that we're mocking as well.
So yes, it does look like it's in the version that I think we're using, for what that's worth.
Do you know if there's a version that supports mutation observer?
That
Well,
would be
basically,
the
it sounds
source.
like there's .1 behind. So that's the easiest test, right? Is running against that.
You mean running up against a later JSDOM version?
Correct.
It might be. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do it since that technically our JSDOM version is wrapped around another library, and I don't know how to just do a quick bump.
Gotcha.
Is mutation observer on window? It would be in window.js and JSDOM.
Yeah, it is part of Windows as well. It is
it looks like there's a thing where we can test if we can observe mutations or not. So like I'd like to almost make this value false. But this is like a global. Is this actually like
I imagine that's checking if there is mutation observer support. So I guess that it is recognizing that there is support because we have a mock of that object, right? But it's an incomplete API.
Okay, 13.2 adds support for mutation. It's in their changelog of JSDOM.
And 13 too?
Yeah.
All right. So let's
Which
do
is
something. Let's do something
old,
funny.
right?
Yeah, let's set it to null. Yeah. All this, and Enrique is like, "Are you sure you don't want to leave this in Karma, Paul?" Oh gosh, what's wrong with you? Oh, because it probably is already detected if I can or can't.
It is detecting that when importing the dependency.
Right. I might be able to. We might be able to do it like just here, but that's going to cause issues for other people.
Does JS have hash bang important?
I really need you to do this. So the other thing is it's failing because we don't have take records. All right, and so we have a mock for mutation observer, and I think we just haven't implemented take records for it. Yeah. Where is our mock for mutation observer? Oh man, I wonder if I didn't think JSDOM actually gave us one. So now I'm really curious where that's coming from. Oh, you said though they did one in like 13 or something. So mutation observer stub. That sounds like something that
Mutation observer impl is what it is in JSDOM.
this is something that we have done. So we have not fully done our stub. I think I'm gonna, because we actually have and this came up I think recently in an MR review. We have a real stub.
This was in JSDOM 13.2. Can't we just comment this out and we already know that?
You bring up a good point. You're probably right. Let's just try that out. Try just commenting out this thing. Yeah. Wow, we're so close.
That got us past that error?
It did.
Not using that stub, okay.
So I don't think we even need this stub, right? Because it's already there.
Seems to be in JSDOM now, yeah. I mean, if something breaks, it was depending upon the stubbed behavior, which was probably a really bad thing anyway.
Yeah, and we have one that we have one that creates a mock, like more than a stub, where we can actually like control and stuff. So I don't think we really need this. I'm gonna move it to the trash. Okay. I think we have another. Yeah, I know we were gonna be upset about that. Where are we importing this? Oh, in our DOM shims. Okay. Cool. So then, oh wait, what's wrong with you? You were just working a second ago. I thought we just did this. Oh wait, did I bring some of this back? No? Oh no. Okay, we're back. All right. That was scary. So we're finding that range.getBounding client rect is not function.
So what is the range we have now? Is it a real range or is it a mock range that this is talking about?
This is going to be the JSDOM range. I think that's what we're dealing with right now. But what's another strange thing that's happening here is this isn't necessarily a range. Like this is a function. We don't really know what the return type of this is. I know. We could talk about TypeScript. And I don't think anywhere, I don't think we have implemented anywhere get bounding client rect in JSDOM. So I don't think that's part of range. I think that's part of a, like just any element. We don't have that support in JSDOM. Let me double check if that's a part of range or not here. So if I go document, oh no, it is part of range. Okay, is that part of range when we create one here? Let's see. Yeah, so for us to do all this testing of stuff, I'm gonna create one.
Something very interesting is that we are not dealing with a Squire anymore. It is with code mirror.
Yep, the plot thickens. You're totally right, and that's a little concerning, for sure. And all of it really sounds like we want to have a nice browser environment, but there's a huge trade-off with that, and that's that tests get slow, and because they're slow, we don't actually sandbox each test, and those are all the issues we try to get away from Karma. And so what would be nice when we need to do these integrations, okay, yeah, having a full browser thing would be nice, but then we also have to really make sure we get enough bang for our buck with each integration test. Like, we don't want to just do a whole bunch of them because if they're slow, which is interesting. Did we skip something here? It doesn't like this thing I just tried to add. Oh, because I didn't actually name anything.
So what it looks like is get-bounding client rec could be called on a range or an element, and maybe DOM has only implemented it on the element based on searching their source code.
Really? Okay, that's good to know. So I just checked it out here. It looks like it's not a function for our range, which is unfortunate. And if we go to create an element, is this how you create an element? This is right?
I think so. Well, that's gonna fail. Or
it doesn't have any expectations. Okay, so we do have it for elements, but we don't have it for ranges.
right,
And I think
JSDOM hasn't implemented it.
Yeah, I think this is one of our manual shimmy things. It is. I don't know why I called it get client recs. Bounding client rect.
That's a different method. That's different than get bounding client recs.
Get client recs is different.
Yes.
Okay.
They're different functions.
So what we could do, and let's just do it here for fun. Let me go back to where we were doing the DOM shims, get client recs. We're gonna do this kind of thing. For range, is that the type? Is it a range?
Yes, it is that one.
Okay. Get bounding client rect. Oh man, this thing's called a DOMRect.
It returns a DOMRect, yeah.
You know, this is why I don't like types.
Your DOM is rect.
I'm gonna try to just return an object, but if we have to return a DOMRect, we'll figure out how to do that.
I think that we can build one. We can just call, new DOMRect if that type exists.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Not like we gotta shim another thing. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, I called this get client recs because I copied it.
The fun thing is that perhaps we will end up mocking code mirror and Squire, and we will be again doing a unit test.
I don't really know what Squire does, and so that really might be the best thing to do, because it seems like that might be the layer between the DOM and the real bit we're interested in, and that's where usually it's nice to mock those architectural layer stuff, those like boundary points. But all right, these are both functions now, so I'm gonna say that I think we're good. See what happens. Oh gosh. Oh, okay.
Didn't you say that one already existed somewhere? That we're not using that mock that it was on?
So it exists for
Element, not range.
For elements, yeah. And here's some interesting comments of why it exists. We have a matcher called to be visible. Like, because we inherited a lot of our old jQuery matchers when we did this jested stuff. Some of those matchers don't actually do anything, so I'd suggest not using them too much. One of them that didn't really do anything was to be visible. Like, it was always false. And so when someone's like testing, oh, is this visible or not? Like, it's like, we're not actually testing anything here. And that was concerning. So this was trying to make it work, but in reality, we probably should just get rid of the matcher because we're trying, you see, we're like, because this is what to be visible uses under the hood. And we're seeing like, hey, do we have like display none or some sort of a hidden style up my chain? So we can actually use this matcher somehow. But in retrospect, we probably should just disable the matcher rather than implementing our own thing. So we can't necessarily just copy this. Maybe we could, but I don't think we want to just copy this thing. I think we want to just, it's just wrapping the parent in an array. Like, I think it's just this thing, but with an array. So I'm going to do, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do this. Or let me see what you guys think of this. Calling return this get bounding claim. Is that? Yes! And that's it. All right. And they're all going to pass without problems.
Guaranteed. Bet your life on it.
Oh, no! Oh, it's a timeout. Oh, man. That was the thing that ended Paul's career. He bet his whole life on his test not timing out.
Wait,
cool.
why? Perhaps we can remove the CSS import that I'm...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's try that out. Great idea.
Just pretend the last one didn't happen.
This is it. Okay, that's great. And so we debugged some things. And wow, it was really lucky that we found that we were manually overwriting range. And it was really lucky that we're technically already supporting that. So that was a good thing we stumbled upon. And it
turns out we are using the latest and greatest JSDOM. We just need to not blow its functionality away with our own custom mods.
You know, I hear what you're saying, Chad. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, maybe with some of these shims, maybe we should like consider contributing upstream or like really reevaluating some of this, especially if we do it. And so one interesting thing, Enrique, we have some dependency bump. Like you set up like, hey, we need to check before we do these dependency bumps or something. Oh, blocked dependencies. It would be neat to be like, hey, if we're bumping this dependency, let's double check the change log and see what we can remove. Like if we had, when Renovate Bot creates something and says like, oh, here's the new package for, Jest environment, JSDOM 16. If that included instructions for, hey, check the change log, can we get rid of any of our manual shims? That would be really cool.
Yeah, I could open a merge request to the Renovate. And then I guess that it should have like some DRI, right? I don't know, I could talk myself and I could do some, testing. And I don't know if you want to be included as well.
A DRI for
checking the dependency.
State?
Yeah.
I think we could, I kind of wonder if like, for some very specific stuff, I could see it being really helpful if like we could give maintainers instructions for like, before we do this very specific thing, like check this. And that could live in our handbook, but it'd also be really cool if it was created in the MR. And like, so we could automate part of Renovate Bot for this specific package, like check the change log, see if we can remove these DOM shim stuff.
We can do
And
that.
That could also be an avenue for us doing some of like, hey, for this specific GitLab UI bump, you know, check, we can write instructions for check this usage, and here's how you can migrate stuff. I'm just thinking pie in the sky, this kind of thing would be nice. I don't really know what it looks like. Do you guys have any thoughts of, have you guys, Chad or Derek, have you checked out like Renovate Bot and just how some of the packages get some of those MRs get created automatically? And
I know the concept of it, but I haven't looked at how ours specifically works. But the one thing I was thinking, like pie in the sky, for example, JSDOM, it's got an @types TypeScript manifest that says what it implements. Like theoretically, some aspect-oriented-ish programming thing, like say, look at that, and somehow detect if we are implementing something that's in there, and if so, we shouldn't be.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, we can make a script for that. I think that's a great idea. And then that could be our instruction for our maintainer is, hey, are we bumping this? Let's run this script. Or if we were like really fancy, we could do like, hey, DangerBot, are we bumping this? Run this script. Like that may be too much automation. We may lose our jobs then.
But as far as like, you can't really rely on the changelog because like we just saw here,
Yeah.
this one thing wasn't even in the changelog, but looking at the types and somehow saying like, is this thing used or not?
I think that's a really, really good point. I like that a lot. Can you share just that types that you're looking at right now so we can look at it?
Well, no, I mean just the standard @types that comes with most libraries now, and just as the TypeScript manifest, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, and that makes sense for JSDOM to support that. And so yeah, we could just check. I wonder how I would tie like our specific DOM shim stuff. Yeah, I could just, So, I wonder how I could somehow parse this to know, like, we're overwriting something here, which maybe we don't need to do. Like,
right. I think back, like in Ruby and other languages that have like aspect-oriented approach, you can say like, actually instrument this method, you know, to do something, like set a bit if it's overridden or extended somewhere or never called or called. But it seems that's harder to do in JavaScript because you don't have that, you know, metadata about methods.
Yeah.
Maybe if we create a function, like we are just assigning a property to the window object, right? By the way, we have proxies. We could like, you know, create a proxy in the window object and just check if that a property already exists. But a simpler way of doing it is creating a function that says that it could be called override window property, and it checks if a property exists already before allowing to assign a new value.
That's a good idea. And then you could even, and I would say it should even just blow up if we're trying to do it so that we remove it. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Like it blows up by default, and if you have to override it for some reason, you have to sort of opt into that.
Yeah, I think that's the solution is these shims aren't actually shims because they're not doing any checking. They're just overwriting. We should do checking, and then rather than, I would say maybe than making a graceful shim, make it a shiv so that it just blows up.
Stubs, not mocks.
Yeah, so that we can even remove this file if it's there, like, because then we don't need any of this code. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I should do that for all these shims.
Like a shim is.
Cool. Well, hey, I think we solved it in an hour. So I'm gonna push this up. I think though, we'll move this to a DOM shim. Like that's kind of been our style. But what we'll do based on our conversation just now, let's do it. Do you guys have 2 more minutes?
I can say.
You do have 2 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to create one called range. Yeah. And I'm going to move this stuff into there. And what I'm going to do is something a little weird. Let me know what you think of it. But I'm going to say, hey, if this already exists, then blow up. What do you think of that? So then when we do updates, it'll blow up and we're like, already exists this stub. And then do the same thing for, and yeah, we could totally find a way to get rid of some duplication here, but, and if, what do you guys all think of single line?
This could possibly not work because of load order. Like you kind of have to ensure these are loaded after everything else.
They are actually, and you're right. These are
okay.
loaded after these. And that's one thing about the test environment and this test setup. If you go to like our Jest config, nope, not that one. Our base config. Test environment gets run first, does a whole bunch of setups of like global and window and JSDOM, and then you have our setup files after env. So then these are set up next. So that's technically, and this makes sense. This is where we would do our shimming.
Cool. So we already do that.
Yeah. But what do you guys think of these errors? Do you think that that's maybe now that put in multiple lines, that's not cool. Nobody likes that. All right. Do you think that these are helpful, or do you think that they'll end up biting us?
I think they are helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just like in another iteration, we can create that utility for the rest of the shims.
Yeah. I think I like it too. Cool. I think this is it. I'll push the commit up. Thanks.
Thank you so much. What?
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Really.
Yeah, this was good. I'm glad we got to problem solve this. And this is one of the times when pair programming is successful. It's always successful. Just sometimes it's sweeter than others. But I'll let you all go, and I'll push this commit up. You guys have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Cool.
Bye.
I'll do you too.
Bye.
Bye.